YouTube family, the Maverick in this space one more time. Still, with the best and most credible opinion. Still fear and fearless analysis. And we are going back on the politics today. Impressive mass rally in a Halfway Tree Square last night, all courtesy of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party. And the date drop. Election day, September 3rd. And the first election date, me see people are waiting for so anxiously. And yet still it coming like everybody did know the date already. Including all the opposition. Opposition are called for the date. And them announce the date before the Prime Minister announced the date. Anyway, the writing was on the wall, and that's what everybody that wait for. But me watch the mass rally last night, people. We watch all of the speakers on the stage, and of course, culminated with the most honorable Prime Minister. You know the vibes there. The popularity thing there, the whole frenzy there. Yeah, rile up the base there and, culminating in the election date. But before we get to the date though, the Prime Minister obviously made a pretty long speech. And there were speeches before him. And me a sit down, and me a listen, and me a watch. And me a think to myself, why is this election so close? All of the polls them say the election are go close. Well, we don't hear no polls for the past couple of weeks. But me assume again, when the next one them come up before the election, it's still gonna be close. Unless you have some kind of dramatic, some seismic shift in the support pattern for the two parties them. But the election are gonna close. And me ask myself, why is this election even close? When you listen to the braggadocious way in which the governing party outlined them achievements, when you hear how rosy things are supposed to be in Jamaica compared to in other periods, and when you look at the list of achievements when the government publish in them booklet and again go up on the stage last night and spew them out, you say, why is it even a contest? Really and truly, think about it. When you talk to labor rights, are people who are just, even if they're not labor right, but them supportive of the government and what is happening, how do they explain that this election is close? When you look at the crime numbers will come down, the major crime numbers will come down, the foundation set for the economy, the unemployment rate, these are key indicators as to how well an administration are doing. When you look at all of them things there, and you think about it, why is this a close election? And then you couple all of that with the political savvy of Brogan Holness. I see over the past couple of weeks, me see my draw card. It will remind you again about Bordeaux's 56 Cumberland Road. The contrast between him and the comrade leader. Comrade leader Tapan Harris come out of privilege. In Brogan is of the people. Coming from nothing to something. All of them something have fear political game and brilliant politicking, if you ask me. But why then is the PNP even in this race? And me ask the question, but me I go answer it for now. Because unlike the people them were are political slaves to them party, I pride myself on being an independent thinker. And I'm going to tell you why this election is close. Because a lot of the things where the government are brag and boast on in terms of them achievements, they are macro issues. So when the government spew out the numbers as it relates to the economy and the foundation set for the economy and the healthy state of the NIR, all of these policies and pronouncements are macro policies. Now, when you look and step down after the macro platform and go down in the micro communities, that is when the ruling party and the government probably missed a step. Remember, unless all of these macro indicators and macro policies translate down to the poor man in the garrison or the poor lady on the countryside, being able to buy food put on our table, being able to send our picnic them or our grand picnic them go to school, being able to pay the JPS bill, being able to buy uniform, being able to buy school book for them pick if you go back to school September morning. Unless those small people, those little people, where most politicians don't remember till election day, unless those people are seeing a tangible difference in a freedom life, then what you will have is a close election. And remember, say poor people are going always in the majority. So if there are enough poor people who, when they listen to the Prime Minister speak, and speak about how wonderful things are in Jamaica, if there are enough poor people who not experiencing what the Prime Minister are talking about, who feel insulted, who feel that the people on this platform are being condescending to their reality and for them concern and for them life, then those poor people are the ones who make this election close. What will be interesting to me is after this grand show at Arbitrary last night, is to see how the PNP respond. Not just by pulling up Arbitrary Square like the JLP, you know. Because them kind of crowded out with the election, you know. Somebody sent some pictures to me of Portia Simpson Miller, Arbitrary crowd them in the 2016 election. I said, look on them crowd there and compare the crowd there to Andrew crowd up Arbitrary last night. I said, well, you see the Portia crowd there? Portia lose the election flying. But it's important psychologically if the PNP can respond and put a crowd in an Arbitrary or maybe if they want to go crossroad. Symbolically, they might want to go crossroad because you don't know crossroad closer to the, you don't know it closer to the belly of the people. Anyway, people, that's why I think the election is close. When you talk to the labor rights, they don't want to talk these things. Them says bad mind. Labor rights says bad mind and ignorance and a dunce people dunce. Why they not support the government? It's a kind of myopia where you get caught up in a way you believe in without any consideration for the other man and fame reality. But the Maverick can't afford that. Maverick have to maintain an open mind and think about it. Because as me say, you know, watching the presentation them last night, you know, me I think to myself, why is this election close? Why is this election so close? Why is the PNP in a position, in a striking distance of the JLP? Why is the PNP leading in the polls? Why? With all of these wonderful achievements, there must be a tangible reason outside a bad mind and ignorance and dunceness. As so them style people, let me know. Respect democracy and understand the dynamics of democracy. Good? Good. We'll have the date now. Don't be late now. Democracy at work. And I want it to be done, you know. I want it to be over and done with. So we can get back to normal. We're dying to get back to normal. Regardless of which party win. It will get right back to normal. Right? Right? One Maverick stepping away.